Hey guys, I wanted to jump on. I've got Anthony here with me. So a lot of you guys know I've been kind of MIA the last couple of days. Some of you guys know I've been in the hospital. Some of you guys really haven't known what's going on. So I kind of wanted to share a little video, and I'm so grateful that my husband wanted to jump in because he was affected as well during this situation. So I'm gonna let you know what has been going on. So you guys may have noticed last week in some of my videos I mentioned that I just wasn't feeling well. It actually started probably around Wednesday of last week, and maybe even sooner to when I really let it hit me, because I'm kind of tough with pain. Like, I'm not one to like run to the doctor for everything, which may change a little bit now. But I noticed I was having like really bad back pains. I was kind of like having chills, fevers, just different kind of feelings that was going through, and I was very, very weak. So that kind of led into the start of the weekend, Saturday, which my husband here was like, you really need to go to the doctor. And I'm so grateful that he did say that. So we ended up going to, or I ended up going to the immediate care, and nowadays it's a completely different thing. Like, you don't go in walking with your husband. It's just like a drop off. So the family pretty much dropped me off. I was only patients are able to go inside. Everything now is masks, gloves, all that kind of stuff. So definitely a different world. But I did have some tests done, and they did find that I had some kind of an infection. They weren't sure what kind of infection, so they had to actually take the culture samples and send them into the lab to get more detail. So they sent me home with antibiotic, and I was really excited because typically I've had this before, and when I take an antibiotic, it's pretty like quick results and I start to feel really good. So we got home late Saturday, so I, popped one of those really quick Saturday evening, and then I took 2 antibiotics Sunday, and then that led into Monday. And by Monday, I wasn't feeling good. In fact, I wasn't feeling even any better. It wasn't like staying the same. It seemed like it was getting kind of worse. And he's really good, at like telling me, I think we need to do something else regarding this. And of course, the scary part for me was going to the hospital, which we knew that was what it was going to be, especially at this time. Not a place that I wanted to be. In fact, I've been telling everyone, like, take their vitamins, stay healthy. When the kids go on the trampoline, don't jump too high. I want everyone to be safe because I don't want like those emergency room visits to
try to
occur.
avoid that as much as possible. What's going on right now?
Yes, but we knew that at this point, I couldn't go back to another doctor. There's really nothing that they could do. So I was in a lot of pain. I was running a fever. My fever at home was 100.4, which isn't like terrible, but it definitely was the highest that it's been since I was 6. So it was getting worse. So that's why we knew we had to do something. So we ended up calling the ambulance, and I ended up leaving in the ambulance. And just everything getting to the emergency room. I know I had so many questions, like, could people come? There's no visitors, no one, like my husband couldn't come in the ambulance, which didn't really matter because we didn't have anyone for the kids either. So, and I wouldn't want him there anywhere. Not that I wouldn't want him there, but it's just, everything is completely different. So got to the emergency room. Normally where they would drop you off, like they have like a little door now where they kind of drop people off for the emergency room. Everything is very different, just completely different. So I did get in there, and I kind of sat around for a while. They kind of wheeled me to one room and then wheeled me to another room and just kind of had me hang out for a while. It was really lonely because there weren't a lot of people around, and then the workers that were around, no one was kind of checking on me, and I just kind of felt, kind of left.
Helpless.
Yeah, kind of helpless. I didn't want to bother anyone, but I hadn't eaten all day, and really Saturday I didn't eat. I really wasn't eating that much during this time. So I just felt really weak, like I needed water or I needed something like in my system. So finally they wheeled me into like a part of the emergency room. From what I gathered from the doctors is everything is kind of sectioned off. So the area that I was in was kind of like a non-COVID area, And actually, like, there was no one next to me, there was no one to either side of me. And then further down the hallway was like a storage room, a restroom. So I was actually in a pretty good place. I didn't have like people around me. So they kind of had me hang around there. They took me for a CT scan. Yeah, sorry. CT scan. What else did they do? They gave me some fluids, and then they started me, I believe when I was in the emergency room, they gave me like they gave me a bag of antibiotic. But at this time I was in extreme pain, and I'd ask, can I get some pain medicine? And he knows, like, I don't ask for pain medicine. I don't take nothing. Even when I have a headache, like, I try as hard as I can to not take anything for a headache. Both my kids, I had natural, no epidural, nothing. So I try not to take medicine. That's just, that's just how I am. But I was in pain, and I've had a kidney infection before, but it was in my 20s. So again, I was in better shape. I was, younger, 22 years younger, roughly. So it was a totally different feeling, and I was really in a lot of pain. And they kept saying, yeah, we're going to give you some pain medicine. Hang in there. Yeah. So I kind of built myself up like I just need to wait for this medicine, but that I will get it. So I was in the emergency room for I don't know how many hours, from like 10 in the morning till like 6:30, and then they finally decided to drag me up to a room. But in that process, they also tested me for COVID. I did get a test. I did do the rapid test, which is like a 1-hour result test. But I believe it's the same, the swab. I mean, I think they're all the same. I think just the way that the test is evaluated, like one, you get a rapid result, one takes 24 hours. So that came back negative, which was good, because that was just another thing that was building on my anxiety in the hospital, because I was getting very anxious, and you guys know that I have anxiety, and it just started to kind of build up on that. So then they finally put me up to a room, and I was super excited because the first thing I thought is like, okay, I'm getting pain medicine and I'm getting sleep, because I hadn't slept in like over 5 days. So like my levels were at their top for sure. Like there was no more that I really could take. So I got up there, and they just kind of like wheeled me in, and I just kind of sat there and just kind of kept sitting there, and I was wondering like what's going on. Like I wasn't getting any kind of medicine for my IV, so I wasn't on any fluids at that time. I didn't have an antibiotic. Still waiting for some pain relief, and they just had me sitting there, and I kind of lost it a little bit, because I had my husband on FaceTime, and I was just like, calling out the door. Like, I mean, I needed water. I was so dry. My skin was so dry. My mouth was so dry, just to try and get something to drink. And I was in so much pain at this time, and my anxiety was just like climbing and climbing and climbing. And I could just feel myself heating up inside of my heart. I could feel it pounding. So the nurse came in, and, she took my temperature, and my temperature elevated to 103.5. So we're talking, when I came in there, it was 100.4, and then it jumped to 103.5. And I think a lot of that just happened from like just sitting there and being anxious and being nervous and being in pain, because I was in, at this point, a lot of pain. I mean, I was crying. I made it clear that I was in pain. So the nurse came in, she took my temperatures, and immediately they were like, okay, we need to get her tested again for COVID. And I knew from the pain that I was having a kidney infection. I knew that needed to be addressed a little bit better, because I've had it before. So when they said that, like, I didn't mind taking the test again. That's fine, I'll do the test again. But they wanted to move me into like a COVID area. And like, I lost it. I lost it at that point.
And she called me and told me about it. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I think, well, I obviously heard the information, and then I FaceTimed him, because I wanted him to like, you can't have people there. So it's really hard. And when you get like things like this, that's even harder, because It's like, okay, I took the one test, it came back negative, and they kept saying, well, sometimes that gives like false negatives or whatnot. And the whole time I was there, they kept saying, are you having a hard time breathing? Do you have chest pains? Like, no, you know, the only reason I have a hard time breathing is because I'm exhausted.
You
like,
guys are making me upset.
Yeah, you guys are, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because let me tell you, I know those people are working so hard and it's so stressful for them, but it was just hard that the focus was on that rather than even looking into the infection. And so, you know, I was really upset, and I said, you know, I'm not going to go down there right now. Nobody's addressed like the kidney infection. Nobody has given me pain relief to even feel better. I said I'm having a panic attack, because that is exactly what I was having. I was having a really bad panic attack at this time. And if you guys have had it, you know what it feels like. It feels like no place you want to be. So then she called I believe the infectious disease doctors, because those were kind of like the doctors that were looking over me. And like immediately they had someone up with an x-ray. They're like, take a chest x-ray on her. So they wanted to make sure that my, you know, everything was clear here. There was no congestion, nothing. So they did that like I mean, they were up there, and I'm like, I've never seen anyone come up so quick. So they did that right away. And that came back fine. That came back completely clear. So they were fine to leave me on the floor. And, you know, it's like I told them, I would be fine to take the test. You can go ahead and swab me again and do the 24-hour test, but I'm not going to be moved at this point. You know, it just doesn't make sense. So the CT scan came back with everything. They saw everything that I have as far as like my polycystic kidney disease. They did find some cysts on my liver. And basically it looks like it may have started as like a urinary tract infection and then went to my kidneys. So that's why I was feeling the pain that I was feeling. So it's like 7 o'clock right now, and they're saying, okay, well, we're gonna get you your medicine, so just hang in there. 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30. So finally at 9 o'clock, they come in, the nurse comes in with some like IV bags. So I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you. Finally some pain medicine, because really my back was in so much pain right now. I still had chills. I couldn't sit straight. I was like shaking myself to just like comfort myself at that point, because there was nothing else that I could do. And I said, oh, what are you giving me? And one was fluids, and then the other was an antibiotic. So there was no pain medicine. And during my whole stay, I did not receive any pain medicine. And that is really odd to me. It's like I said, I've had it before, and anytime I've gone to the hospital, I don't ask for pain medicine unless like I can't tolerate what I'm feeling.
Right.
And you know, he can tell you how many phone calls I made in pain to him and not getting, you know, something. I wasn't looking for something to knock me out and let me sleep for days. I just wanted something to relieve the pain. And that was really hard. And that was like a mind struggle the whole time that I was there, because I had to really pump myself up, because I didn't want my temperature to keep growing, you know?
Right.
Because that was one thing. I mean, once I got the antibiotics, I do want to say I started to feel so much better as far as like kidney pain. Like it really started to go away, but a lot of the pain that I was feeling at that time, I was getting like really bad migraine and tension pains. I was exhausted, so my body was still really weak, just different things like that. But nonetheless, I toughed it out. I did the best that I could. I FaceTime my family a lot, which was like the only thing that saved me during this time from not going super crazy, because I felt like I went quite a bit crazy.
Yes. But you have every reason to. I mean,
yeah.
And then to be in the hospital during all this, what's going on, and then not getting any pain medicine, you know, which is rough to deal with.
That was just really different, not getting any pain medicine and telling me that I was, and kind of like dragging it out, and then saying that I wasn't going to because, you know, and not giving me a really stable reason was like, okay, you know. And at that point I knew it was something that I couldn't keep asking for, because I just wasn't going to get it. So my mind frame was, I need to make sure that I get my temperature down because I could feel the pain from the kidneys going away. So I knew the antibiotic was working. So that was number one. But keeping a temperature down, because they weren't going to give me pain medicine here. I could manage my pain at home at that point, because, you know, at least I could do, you know, Tylenol or something, or follow up with my doctor and see what I could take. So my main goal was to get home. So in the long run, like literally after that episode where they told me that they were going to move me to a COVID area, I like started doing breathing. My husband's like, breathe with me. I mean, he would breathe with me on the phone. I mean, I pray that everyone has a support system, but I have.
Stop it.
Because I just, you know, there's so many things that go on now. There are 3 babies that were born when I was there. And every time I heard the music play, I just prayed for those babies. I just prayed for those moms, because it's such a different time now. I mean, years ago, it would be such a happy place, you know. You'd hear, if I was in the hospital or something, you know, you hear the baby, you know, you just get so excited, you get so happy. Now it's just like a totally different thing. And
it's like you're excited, but you can't really be, because you're in a hospital where you're more likely to try to catch a virus and what's going on, you know. And
it really felt like once, I don't want to give it like a crazy feeling, but once I got in there, that I was kind of like locked in there. Like there, I don't know, I just felt like I wasn't getting out to like, I fully show them that I was better, and I understand that, and I understand why they did the COVID test, and I had no complaints with it. But it was such a different feeling than like a place of trying to get better, you know. I don't know, for me at least. And you know, when I was there, they would play the Rocky music, and I would wonder, you know, they'd play it. At first I kind of like timed it, and it seemed like it was like every hour, and I'm like, oh, they must do that for motivation. So I asked one of the nurses, like, why do they play the Rocky music every hour? And she said, that's when a COVID patient goes home. So like they kind of know that, you know, kind of motivates all of the doctors.
Victory and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that's just like, okay, someone goes home, but like 2 more people come back. So it has to be so hard for them. And I'm not saying the nurses were bad because they didn't give me pain medicine. It wasn't their fault. It's just like a totally different experience than I've ever had in the hospital. And that is why I keep telling like everyone, just like stay healthy. You know, let's do the best that we can, take our vitamins, eat healthier. You know, and then of course this happens to me. I've been staying home, and that is something truly that, you know, I asked the doctors, you know, they say, oh, what do you do? And you tell them you're a blogger, you're a YouTuber. So that obviously strikes a conversation, because people are intrigued by that. And you build a relationship. And I just said, you know, in your opinion, what's the best thing that people can do? You know, a lot of people get these, you know, senses that, oh, there's not a lot of cases in their area, or they're feeling well, that they can just go out and do things. And the doctors are really stressing, like, if you're going out, to definitely wear a mask. Even if you have like 2-3 cases in your area, there's just so much unknown with this right now that just being safe is the best thing that you can do. So I'm just passing on the information to you guys. I've been staying home, and I will continue to do that. I think our state now has a stay at home through May as well. So, and I think we're required to wear masks, starting May 1st?
Yeah, the stay at home right now has been extended to the 30th of May.
30th of May. Oh, yes, I think I said that wrong. I think I said that wrong. One thing I didn't do too much, I think only one time I turned on the news, was watch the news in the hospital, because that was not good for me.
And I told her not to watch the news.
Yeah, it's hard when you only have a couple of channels and there's really not that much to watch. So in a nutshell, like Wednesday, late evening time, I was able to go home. Literally in the morning, they told me that I would be able to go home, and it took like hours. All day. I was starting to get doubtful. Like they were taking blood every 4 hours. So I thought, oh, maybe the last blood that they took, you know, they found something and they're making me stay, and nobody's telling me anything. And I was sitting there, but I was able to go home late Wednesday, which was a true blessing. And I mean, seeing them through the glass doors, I mean, you can just ask them. I just started bawling my eyes out, because I was bawling because I was happy, but I was like so sad, because when they walked me out, they're like, do you need a wheelchair? And I'm like, no, I really don't need a wheelchair. I feel fine. But just seeing like, you know, walking through the hospital and it feeling like a ghost town. I mean, it just, you know, you go into a hospital and you see all of the activity, all the doctors, all the patients, all the people coming in for, you know, one day, you know, surgeries or different, you know, things that they have. That just doesn't happen now. Gift shops closed, food places closed, coffee shop is closed, nobody's sitting anywhere. It's just really a different feeling. So when I saw them, like, of course I get to the car and he's still got the door locked for me to get in.
I just assumed once I parked it was gonna pop open, but I guess not.
Get me in here. And I had to like just tell everyone, like the kids were there, my husband, just like give me a second, because like I was just trembling because I was so sad for the people that were left in there. I don't want to say left in there, but that we're still in the hospital, and I just like had to take a second and like think of them and pray for them and pray for everyone around. You know, this is just my area, but everyone in the world.
Right.
So I did get home, and like I said, during the whole time in the hospital, I had really bad head pain, headaches, tension pain, neck pain. So yeah, once I got home, I just pretty much laid on the couch. My husband was like, just rest up, don't do anything. When I was in the hospital too, I actually had my IV bend in my arm.
It blew up her arm.
I mean, I was so scared how big my arm was blown up. I couldn't move it. It did that in the like nighttime when I was sleeping. So I only slept like 2 hours straight. So in 2 hours, it blew up like a giant. So my arm was really sore and just, you know, bruised up everywhere. So getting sleep was really good. And then I woke up and, you know, again, like the tension pains, sometimes like they would feel okay, and then sometimes they were super extreme. So kind of went through that. Thursday got really, really bad.
Yeah, Thursday was really
to the
bad.
point where I'm like, I need to call my doctor and get in there and see if there is something that he can give me. So luckily I was able to go into the doctor on Friday and get, because he could feel in my neck just the tension.
Yeah.
And I'm sure from laying around and not being active, a lot of that played.
Crying, being emotional, thinking
having
of
a
things.
panic attack.
Yeah.
I mean, I would stare at the clock and just watch the clock like tick, tick, tick. I wasn't watching TV. There was like a few shows that I watched like on TLC. And that was it. Because every time I would turn on, it would be the news, it would be the governor, it would be the president. And I was like, it'd be CNN. I'm like, nah, just ain't gonna do it. So I would do that. I would sit on the wall and I would not sit on the wall, but I would lay down and look at the wall and just like rock myself like a baby because I was in so much pain. And I just, you know, every time they would take my vitals, I just prayed, please keep that fever down so I could get home. But Friday, I was blessed to get into the doctor's office, and he could see that I was in a lot of pain. He could tell that there was a lot of tension in my neck, so he could only imagine what was going on in my head and what I was feeling. So he did give me a muscle relaxer as well as like a high dose of Aleve. So I've been taking that. I still can feel a little bit of pain, but it's like, it's fine, because not that he wanted to give me something stronger, but he did offer me something stronger, and he knows like I don't like to take that stuff unless I need it. So he kept it in the chart. He said, if you need something stronger, call. We'll go ahead and do that. But it seems like these two are working much better.
Yeah. Last night wasn't that good either.
But I went outside and like the kids were playing, and me and Sam built a hopscotch, and I started doing hopscotch, which was like, here's the thing. I love my
just went for a run.
I love my kids to death. So I hadn't seen them and I wanted to have fun, but you know, jumping up and down and picking the rock up and jumping over was not the right thing. So I think that was my fault rather than anything. And I knew that, like, as soon as I had to tell Sam, we couldn't even finish the game. I'm like, Mom's got to take a break. So that is where I am right now. I'm feeling so much better. It's going to be a little bit of a process, but I just wanted to share with you some of the experiences that I had in the hospital, because it's a completely different time now. And I think, you know, now more than ever, we need to come together as a family. Even though we may not be family, we need to be a family at this time, because there's just so much going on. And I think so much continuing to go on that, you know, we need to look out for others who may not have other people. And I think at this time, like, I'm so lucky to have my family. My parents were calling me all the time. They were super concerned. But I know there's a lot of people that don't. So reaching out to them is really important because they're at home. They're not doing anything. Look at all of us. We all want, you know, we don't even have nice weather to go outside. We've had like maybe 2 or 3 days in the last, month and a half that maybe we could go outside, or that we did go outside. But other than that, it's raining and cold. You know, we can't.
It's TV and food.
Yeah.
I probably packed a good 10 pounds on her.
Yeah. And going into the hospital, the 10 pounds that I gained, I think I lost, you know, which doesn't mean that they won't come back. It's just I don't really have an appetite. But just take care of yourselves, guys. And, you know, like the doctors say, stay home when you don't need to go out, because there were doctors that were pregnant. You know, there were older, you know, assistants working. There was a doctor who had a history of diabetes. So they're all putting it out on the line, not only for themselves, but they go home to their families, and it's a risk for them. So take care of each other at this time, please. We love you. So I will be back. You know, me and my husband talk about this. He's like, you know, take off some time. I'm not one to like lay around. I am laying and resting, right?
I lay around as much as I can.
Yeah, but I just can't. Like, even in the hospital, there was a little side desk. I was showing my son Joey, like, oh, mommy wishes she brought her computer, just to keep myself busy, because I will rest, definitely. I will take all of my medicine and do all that, but I like to slowly get back into it because it's healing for me. It's just, I get that from my parents. They never stop. So I'm not much of a stopper either. So I wanted to just give you guys an update, tell you guys that I was thinking about you, thanking you for all the love and messages that you sent, because I got so many emails like, you know, just doing a wellness check. How are you? Like, people just didn't know. And I did post it on YouTube and on Instagram, but if you missed it, I just wanted to let you know that I'm doing okay, and for you guys to take care of yourselves, and I'll be back with videos. This girl don't stop for sure. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.